G'day there guys, Markee here, and I can resist anything but temptation. And welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the A-hole. Now, if you love today's content, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a like on the video, and tell me what you think of it all down in the comments below. Posted by user HusJSujEdgeHD822. Titled, Am I the A-hole for going no contact with my narcissistic daughter? Throw away because my daughter knows my main account and uses Reddit too. I, 46 female, raised my daughter by myself. I got pregnant by my ex-boyfriend, but as soon as he found out I was pregnant, he gave me an ultimatum to abort or he would leave. I chose to keep the baby and he left. I later learned that he had fled the country to avoid paying child support. I struggled, but we got by. I decided to move back in with my parents, and I stayed there for a couple of years. I then got a job in a clothes store, and there I could provide for my daughter. Over her teenage years, however, my daughter became spoiled. She became more demanding, always wanting the latest clothes, phone, and was always quite annoying. I shrugged it off as a puberty thing and knew that she'd get over it. When she was 15, her father tried reaching out and she said he had returned to the country and was struggling now after his girlfriend, I didn't know he had, allegedly had split up with him. He contacted me saying he was sorry. He even said that he would pay me everything he owed in child support. However, I refused, which angered my daughter. She said he might be able to provide better for her, but I told her that he is very likely having a tough time and wants to come back just so we can look after him, and that he left me struggling when I was pregnant. She got upset but didn't mention it again. When she was 18, she told me she was dating a 19-year-old guy and was going to live with him. I, of course, wanted to let my daughter spread her wings, so I asked if she was sure, and then she moved in with him. Apparently, she's now gone LC, little contact with me, because I'm apparently a bad parent for not letting her reconcile with her father. She only lets me visit once every couple of months for a couple of hours, and also tries to avoid talking to me over the phone and via text as much as she can. Her boyfriend apparently has now broken up with her, and the lockdown is lifting where I live, so soon she'll be able to move out as her boyfriend is giving her a month. I asked her why her boyfriend broke up, and she said it was because he thought that she was being emotionally abusive towards me, and he didn't want to be with her. She wants to move back in with me, as she told me when she called me last weekend. I decided to tell her no. I told her I was cutting contact with her because she was being horrible and abusive, and I didn't want her to live with me as she evidently didn't care about me and only wanted the roof over her head. She got angry and swore down the phone, telling me she's going to be homeless and I was the nasty one by not letting her see her father, who may be able to provide for her better. I told her that her father didn't care about her and only wanted to use her, but she hung up. She hasn't spoken to me since. Am I the a-hole for cutting contact with my narcissistic daughter and not allowing her to live with me? How is OP this old and this blind? It seems as though every step that they could be looking after their own kids' best interests, they're doing the exact opposite thing. Is it a pride issue? Are you so proud of yourself that, oh my god, you've done me wrong once. I can't be the bigger man here. I'm gonna shut down my own child because that's just the way I am. Look, sure, the dad might have been a bad person, but you didn't allow your daughter the opportunity to see that firsthand and learn themselves whether he was a good or bad person, whether or not he wanted to use her or not. You didn't give her the opportunity to get in contact with him. She cut you off because she's not feeling right about living with you, feels like you're manipulating her. You don't give her the chance to see if the grass is greener on the other side. You let her do it and then you don't allow her back into your life. And now she's going homeless as a result. That's a disgusting line to take, OP. You should genuinely feel ashamed of yourself for doing that. She's not narcissistic. She's young. She's figuring herself out. 19 isn't that old. She doesn't have the wisdom that someone your age does, OP. Give her a chance to grow up. You're the a-hole. There's a lot to unpack here. I understand why maybe you didn't want your ex to move in with you or anything, But at 15, she was old enough to decide for herself if she wanted a relationship with her dad or not. Nothing you described makes her sound like a narcissist. She sounds more like a typical teenager, albeit one who was angry because you didn't let her see her dad. She's 18, so it's up to you whether or not you let her live with you now, but you sound like you're getting revenge for her not seeing you as much as you would like. It sounds like she was justified in being angry at you for not letting her have a relationship with her dad. Don't let her live with you if you don't want to, but don't pretend it's all her fault, nor get mad later when she likely permanently cuts you off. She might be immature, but she's also still pretty young. You're the a-hole. Right? I didn't get a single narcissist vibe from the daughter in this story, other than the typical ways in which all children are naturally narcissistic. OP wanted the relationship when she unilaterally chose for her daughter to not see her dad, even though daughter was old enough to have an opinion. Sounds like OP is projecting and came here for validation that she won't be getting. You're the a-hole, OP. You've got a chance to fix this. Don't be the reason you lose your daughter. It's the rare teenager that you couldn't describe as always wanting the latest clothes, phone, and was always quite annoying. If that's all it takes to be considered a narcissist, then I think most teens, and probably adults, would fall into that category as well. Agreed. We didn't have much growing up, and after we took in some relatives when their parents died, there were suddenly 4 teenagers in my house at one time. Pretty sure my parents had to tell us daily we couldn't have the new Nikes and whatnot. I know you Yanks like to say Nikes, but Nikes sounds better. We weren't spoiled with material things, but it's just being a teenager to see your friends have so much and want it too. We all got high school jobs for that, and you better believe we spent our money on shoes and sunglasses and stupid crap that we didn't need. There is one thing I can't get over in your post. Child support was her legal entitlement. Her father offered it, very late, but in full, and you rejected it. Her legal entitlement. I'm sure your ego will go a long way towards paying her tuition or investing in real estate. You're the a-hole. Update. Am I the a-hole for going no contact with my narcissistic daughter? Hello everybody. I've been reading your feedback from my original post, and I decided about a week ago I would contact my daughter and offer her a chance to live with me for a while. I contacted her and she did not answer a few times, but then the 4th time she did answer. It turns out she had been looking for a place to stay with the small amount of money she had so she could get a better paying job later on. But she had no luck so far finding a place to live and only had about 3 weeks to leave her boyfriend's house. I did feel sorry for her. I don't think I'm a narcissist, and I do still think she was acting a little spoilt, entitled, and narcissistic. But I do feel sorry for my daughter, so I decided to let her come live with me on one condition: that she would be nice, friendly, and wouldn't act spoilt anymore. She agreed and decided to move in with me yesterday. She has since been helpful, polite, and hasn't acted spoilt since. I'm confident she's changed from her previous self. She asked me if she could meet her father, but I'm still not sure. I decided to give her my ex's number, but I told her to take what he says with caution, as I still didn't trust him very much. She has spoken to my ex over the phone, and they got to know each other, but I do hope my ex genuinely is sorry, and we could start over someday. Thank you everybody once again for your feedback on the original post. I See Childhood 1 says, you declined back pay that you and your daughter are owed and entitled to, and you blocked her from having a chance to speak to her father to get some kind of closure. Sure, he hurt you, but she wasn't even born yet to know him, and that hurt. Of course she couldn't relate to you there. You have done the right thing now, but let's go into the other issue. I don't understand why you declined the back pay, especially with the current world events and the fact your daughter could have used it. You never gave any reasons why she was spoiled, besides asking for things. You don't want your child to be terrified into never asking for anything ever, because they turn into someone like me, who won't ask for anything unless I'm dying or needed it to graduate. Me not asking for anything got so bad that eventually it got to a point where I'd only eat dinner. No lunch, No breakfast, only dinner because I felt that we didn't have enough money to afford 3 meals for everyone, so I gave up having any so others could. When it came to my birthday, I one year said I wanted to skip it, and then my dad screamed and yelled at me after he told me to pick some things to get and was angry that I wanted a new set of headphones. Not even brand specific, I just said headphones, and he popped off screaming and ranted about a box of broken headphones, which were my dead brother's that he decided to bring with us when we moved, so they weren't even mine. So I still skipped it that year and years after until his death. It's taken me a whole year to get okay with buying nice things that are not food for myself with the money I've earned. So think for a while about how your actions and words in the past have more than likely affected your daughter. If you were always getting her the newest things as soon as it was out and not as a birthday gift on or near her birthday, then her expecting you to get her the latest and greatest might just be your fault. If you never sat down and made clear about why you can't afford to do those things for her, and talk calmly with your almost adult/adult daughter, then you're one step from being just like my father. You're just missing the "we're too poor" lie. My point? You probably have done things that you think are acceptable, but in truth are not. And that is why your daughter went low contact. You've probably somewhat skewed your reality because otherwise, a lot of what you're saying you haven't explained how it could be. Posted by user, Am I a Crazy Mum? Titled, Am I the a-hole for yelling at ex to your husband's girlfriend in front of the kids? I, 38 female, have got 3 kids, 4, 6, 9, with my ex, 43 male, who cheated on me with a 24-year-old. Now girlfriend, she moved in 2 weeks after ex and I split 2 years ago. We immediately divorced, and I only had the kids a couple of days every other week as I work 70 hours a week. I finance everything in regards to the kids, extracurricular, camps, clothing, etc. I can afford it easily, so I go shopping with them, get the emails about their sports, host their parties, etc. I am still very involved in my children's lives. My kids told me they don't like my new girlfriend. They say girlfriend is overbearing, controlling, tries to enforce affection, and mothers them. I told ex to talk to her, but he dismissed it. So I told the kids they aren't obliged to listen to her beyond house rules. Last Thursday, girlfriend picked up the kids from my place. I say goodnight to my kids and go back inside. 5 or so minutes later, I'm leaving for work, and I see girlfriend's car standing still in my driveway. I walk over and knock on the window. I say, "Hey, is everything all right? Why aren't you leaving?" My younger ones are in the back being quiet, but my 9-year-old is staring daggers at girlfriend, and there is obviously something going on between girlfriend and 9-year-old. S from here on. Girlfriend says, "Yes, everything's fine. I'm just making a point." S refuses to comply with my rule, so I'm not leaving until he does. S, is that true? What are you refusing to do? She wants me to call her mum. I told her no, because you are my mum. I'm taken aback by this and I say, "Girlfriend, I don't believe you get to decide what my children call you. They have told you multiple times that they want to call you by your name and you need to accept that." Well, I think it's important for them to have a mother's figure in their life and that they call their real family by their titles. Since you're so busy all the time, the youngest ones have even been forgetting you. So I'm just trying to give them a healthy childhood by having them at least remember having a mum. So this is where Am I the A-hole comes in. I lost it. I have rarely been so angry. I didn't yell, as I never do, but I did say some pretty nasty things. I told her that she should be grateful to even be a part of my children's life, that she will never replace me as their mother because she has yet to even get them to like her, that she has got absolutely zero parental authority over my children, and how dare she try to force my child to do something he's explicitly said he's uncomfortable with, to just accept her role as the father's new girlfriend and take them to their dads. I got a phone call later from my ex raging at me for disrespecting his new girlfriend, and my mum also says I could have handled it better. Am I the a-hole here? I don't think you're the a-hole here. I think you're just a concerned mum, laying down the law to someone who's enacting stupid rules on your own children, and you're trying to provide for them, working 70 hours a week. Kind of really disrespectful to say that the kids are forgetting you when you were doing so much to provide for them. I think she's blind, I think she's stupid, and I think you have more than enough rights to have a go at her for that. OP, not the a-hole. OP also says, "Thank you so much for all of your responses. I am blown away. I have decided to take the appropriate steps and have scheduled a meeting with my boss to discuss working fewer hours. I had never even thought about parental alienation, but I'll be damned before I let that happen." Edit 2. I've gotten a lot of comments and messages regarding custody and why I don't have 50-50 or even full. It's because I work a lot. Less hours will still mean a minimum of 50, but I truly never thought about being alienated from my kids. POS X has always been a good dad, never thought that this would happen. Not only not the a-hole, you showed your kids that you'll fight for them, that you care about them and will stick up for them. There might be consequences, but I think you'll find that the bond with your kids will be stronger, which is worth it. OP reminds me of my mum. 5 months into my dad dating his girlfriend, they both expected her to be equal parents with the same rights to my sister and I as my actual parents did. My mum squashed this like a bug, and seeing as my sister and I didn't like our dad's girlfriend, it was so comforting to us knowing that our mum would step up to bat for us like she did. I'm sure OP's kids feel the same. Not the a-hole? You go, mama. Not the a-hole, and I would contact your attorney ASAP. This is parental alienation. Someone who is dad's girlfriend doesn't get to demand that your children start calling her mum. That's the definition of parental alienation. 100% if you were able to reduce your insane workload, I'd get even custody. This girlfriend is terrible. Definitely fight for more custody. Parental alienation isn't a joke, and your kids have already expressed a dislike for what's going on. How do they feel about their dad allowing this to happen? If you can afford it, and if you do get more custody, I would recommend hiring a nanny for when you work, but have the kids. Not an ideal situation when they could have a parent watching them, dad, but a good nanny will love your kids, support your relationship with them, and make sure this crap doesn't happen anymore. I was a nanny for 2 years for a couple that both worked long hours and had 4 kids under 10. They were often gone from 6 to 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. most days. But their kids loved them, were well behaved, and never doubted who their parents were. A good option to look into if you can. Update for yelling at my ex's girlfriend in front of kids. It's been quite a while, and I wasn't planning on it, but many of you have personally messaged me asking for an update. Thank you for all the kindness and concern for my family. Early March, I was phoned at work by my neighbor saying my 10-year-old son was at her place. He had biked in the dark to my house. He told me that he'd left because girlfriend had punished him for not joining a family bath in a way no one should support. Of course, I went home immediately. I told my boss that I was leaving for the night, and I wasn't sure if I would return the next day. After checking if my son was okay, we went to the ex's house. After arriving, girlfriend immediately started raging at S, but I shut that down very quickly. I went inside the house to collect my children, who were awake because girlfriend was yelling very loudly. They cried and asked to come with me, which was absolutely horrible. To come to the house of your co-parent and to hear your children beg to leave, it took something from me. I put the children in the car, locked it, and went back inside to grab their essentials. This time, X followed me in and tried to excuse girlfriend. I told him that he would not be welcome anywhere near the children until they wanted him to, and I trusted him again. I also told him I would be suing for full custody and that my lawyer will contact him about buying out my part of the house. Nothing he said after that is worth repeating. I came back outside to find girlfriend attacking my car, trying to get the children. Things got very nasty, and many things were said. She refrained me from reaching my car, and the police had to be called. The officers allowed me to leave with my kids after a brief chat. I did not return to work until early April. Because of COVID-19, my children went to my parents in the country. We video chat daily, and my parents say the children are flourishing, though still very shocked and traumatized by what happened. They are talking with a therapist individually. My children have also been inspected by a physician for physical trauma, of which there is no sign, thank the stars. I will be taking my ex to court soon, and will likely get full custody with paying alimony. The house will be put up for sale. Ex has formally been told that girlfriend's presence will result in me fighting for no visitation. Lastly, I did not end up losing my job. I have decided to get a professional live-in nanny and perhaps an au pair, and am looking into larger properties to accommodate everyone. The kids are very excited to come home to me in September. Thank you all very much. I don't know if you'll read this, but I want to put it out there. It is very possible that the girlfriend is a creepy weirdo that you don't want your kids around. I wouldn't want my kids around her. However, in your post, she sounds like a young 24-year-old, and she's living with a 40-something man and his kids. I would be watching your ex very carefully, because it sounds maybe he chose a vulnerable young girl and is likely at least half the problem. At the minimum, he is allowing and engaging in this behavior, but he might even be a driving factor in encouraging it for his own reasons. In child protection, failure to protect your child from danger, as he was not protecting them from her, is enough reason for that child to be removed. But I would be scared that he's more involved than it seems. Watch your kids after they visit him, even if she's not involved at all. Be very cautious and listen to what they say. Obviously, I don't know him or any of the rest of the story, so I hope I'm just being paranoid for you. You're doing an amazing job, and your kids are lucky to have you fighting for them. Okay, and I think that's where we're going to end today's episode, guys. As always, I do hope you enjoyed it, and maybe even learned something from these stories. Just want to say a quick shout out to my Patreon subscribers and my channel members. You guys should be on the screen right now. If you do see yourself, I want you to give yourself a little pat on the back for being amazing and supporting me on this channel, this little journey we're going on the YouTubes. I really appreciate it, and you guys enable me to do all this amazing work. So if you do see yourself, I love your face and I'm happy to see you. Also guys, if you want to pitch in your own support, you don't have to, but channel links are down in the description below to support the Patreon, the channel membership, whatever you want to do. It's kind of like tipping me if you feel like I'm doing a good job on this channel. I will be opening up avenues for content on those in the future. Just right now I'm kind of bogged down and stuck in Ireland, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway guys, with that said, I do hope you have a wonderful day today. Whatever you're up to, I'd love to know down in the comments below. I do hope you have a good day, night, sleep. Whatever you're up to today, tell me, and I'll see you in the next episode, guys. Bye.